So recently I read something horrific that I personally couldn't comment on, but I knew the two of you could. It was a statistic from a marriage counselling website, and the website was called Couples on the Brink.
Okay, I'm offended that you think we can relate to that, but continue.
And it was a statistic. It read, if a married couple with children has 15 minutes of uninterrupted, non-logistical, non-problem-solving talk every day, I would put them in the top 5% of all married couples. It's an extraordinary achievement. Claire and Hall.
Well, firstly, I'd like to say Holly can't weigh in because she lives in sin. She's not married. She's not. She doesn't understand anything.
We're going to have to expand the parameters of this conversation to
long-term relationships
with
of
children.
all
kinds
with children.
Yeah.
Are both of you okay?
Yeah, no.
What's going on?
Because when I read this, I was like, yeah, absolutely. That is what I'm trying to fix, right, in my relationship. Not, I don't mean in my relationship necessarily like we've got a problem, but that is an absolute reality, and it's what everybody talks about, and it's what they want to avoid while also doing it 100%.
So
does
it
it shock you?
Unfixable problem that you just have ongoing?
I don't think it's an unfixable problem, but the reality of it is that if you have children, and this I'd love to hear Claire on this because she's in a long-term relationship that for a lot of years didn't have children and now does. They've got Matilda, and so your logistic level has gone from who's making dinner tonight or who's ordering in to like much more complicated. And the logistics is enormous. It reminded me of an interview I did with Rachel Griffiths, the actress, for Mid. And she said that after her kids had grown up now and they were just about to leave home or whatever, and her and her husband went on holiday. And she said, if we're not going to be those people who get divorced when the kids leave home, we need to have a rule for this holiday.
Oh.
And she said, the rule is you can't say, could you, would you, did you, have you? So could you just do this for me? Would you go and pick the kids up from blah, blah? Did you get that thing done? Have you remembered to? And that is just like, it was a light bulb for me because I thought so much of the conversations I have with my partner is exactly that. Did you remember to tell that person they've got to pick Billy up on that day because we're not going to be there? Could you just go and get some milk? Have you taken the bin out? Did you, like that level of logistics, did you call the dog sitter about the thing? It's just like the relentless conversation. And if you actually have a conversation about something else, like something we're talking about today, you feel like you've won the relationship Olympics. Don't you think?
Yes. And a young person said to me last week, a young person, maybe, like 25.
Was it me?
Yeah, it wasn't you, but it was a similarly young person, was like, I don't really see the difference between like a partner and a best friend. And like what's actually the difference? And I was like, oh my God, let me explain.
It's because you have sex with your partner.
Well, obviously, that's one thing.
But you think that's the difference. Claire's about to tell you what the difference actually is.
And I'm like, do you? Anyway.
We'll get back to that.
That's a separate conversation. But the difference is, with a best friend, you are talking about all the fun stuff. So I put it that, like, say, Jessie, my sister's my best friend, and Rory's my partner. Jessie, just talk shit with, gossip, talk about fun stuff, whatever. With Rory, it now gets to the stage when you have a child that it's like you are building a life together. It's like being colleagues and you're in a workplace and the workplace is your home and everything needs to get done and sorted. And there are like departments. It's like you have your finance department and you have your pet department and you have your bloody who pays the rent department. And it is actually like building a life and striving for a future together, and it kind of stops being, and maybe momentarily, stops being that kind of social relationship. But I do have to
also,
say,
your boss is a toddler.
Yes,
and
your
they
boss
are really
is a toddler.
unreasonable.
Now I'm depressed.
But you feel really nice when your boss like favours you for the moment.
When you're the favourite.
She loves me. But we recently moved, and Matilda was, who knows, somewhere with my mum. I swear she was being accounted for. But Rory and I, we had all these annoying things to do. We had like all the moving boxes and we were trying to sort them. And we had like an hour where we were just doing things together at home, but we didn't have to talk about what we were doing. We were just like throwing things in the rubbish. And we talked.
You had a conversation.
And I was like, this is wild. I quite like you. You're a funny guy. Like it was weird because it was one of the only times in the last few months especially have been insane. But you realise that you don't get to chat like your friends anymore.
I want to know, Em, because you are on the record on this podcast quite a few times as saying you would like a partner. You would like the picket fence and the baby and all that stuff. Are we doing a better job of convincing you that you don't? We sound like Chapel Roan.
It's annoying.
We sound like Chapel Roan going there and no. It's not true because there's lots of goodness in here, but does that fact, the idea that everything is logistics, horrify you or not?
What annoys me about you guys is that every time I come on here, you're all like, you don't want a relationship, you don't want this, don't
It's
do
just
this.
me, I do that.
And then you're all in relationships. And I'm like, but what do you mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense in my head. But I thought after reading the stat and hearing your sad, sad stories, I could give you some advice on what to talk about.
Oh my God, please.
Please
I need
do.
conversation starters.
So I thought
Yes.
a fun one for both of you. This is like a relationship one, so I haven't actually tried this myself.
Okay.
But you ask them, who is the one person in my family that you hate that you've been scared to tell me?
Oh my God, that is so
and then you get to
good.
pick one in their family.
Is
so it's
this
like
a
even.
conversation starter or a fight starter?
A conversation, because it's like all like cards of
I have to say, in that like very small part of the day, like say we don't get our 15 minutes of uninterrupted talk, we only get 6. That is what we talk about.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
in
I
those
think
few
bring
minutes.
that. I also
Don't
have
worry.
another one that I bring up on my first date that I think will really help you guys out.
Yep.
Okay, so it's more of like a storytelling one. So you're at dinner with them. Do you have dinner with your partners sometimes?
Oh, there's a toddler in between us.
No
but yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you go to them, okay, so pretend you're single. I guess you guys have to pretend you're single for the situation and say you meet your celebrity crush in a bar and you hit it off. They're really into you. Like they're really, really into you. You're talking about your life. They're talking about their life. You're hitting it off, but then you find out that they're your long-lost cousin.
Oh,
okay.
That's
But
a great one.
They kind of give you an eye. No one else will find out.
Okay.
No one else will know. Do you sleep with
Okay.
them?
That is a great question.
Yes, that is really
I think I
important.
know the answer.
That's not the point. They're meant to say it, and then you're meant to dive
Yes,
in, and then you're
that's
like, well, now we both have to go to therapy.
That's a good icebreaker.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of the things that genuinely a challenge in long-term relationships is you've had all your conversations, right? Like, and I don't mean to be a downer about this. There are so many wonderful things about that level of knowing someone so well. But that's why you see the stereotype of the people who've been together a long time and sit in a restaurant not talking, or people whose kids leave home and they split up, or they retire and they split up because they're suddenly like, shit, it's just us. And you have to actually work hard at going out into the world and getting pebbles to bring back to show off and be like, look at my shiny pebble, let's talk about that. It's why women on maternity leave often feel really isolated because they're not going out to get pebbles for the family anymore. And there's like, you've actually got to interact with the world to have things to talk about. And one of the things about long-term coupledom is it can stop you from interacting with the world so much. So you are probably never going to be as interesting as you are right now.
Oh, God.
I'm just always trying to lift you up, Em.
Yeah.
Let you see the sunshine.
Oh, my God. I've got to start downloading these dating apps again.